It has taken 232 years and 115 prior appointments for a Black woman to be selected to serve on the Supreme Court of the United States. But we've made it. We've made it, all of us, all of us.
And then, on the vast lawn of a house that was built by slaves, the next member of the United States Supreme Court said this.
In the poetic words of Dr. Maya Angelou, I do so now while bringing the gifts my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. So as I take on this new role, I strongly believe that this is a moment in which all Americans can take great pride. We have come a long way toward perfecting our union. In my family, it took just one generation to go from segregation to the Supreme Court of the United States.
Antoinette, did you talk about that one generation jump while you were in college, that your parents had lived in another world than what was possible for you?
We talked about the fact that we were honored and humbled and privileged to have an opportunity to be in those spaces, knowing that our parents didn't have those opportunities. We knew that we stood on the shoulders of others that sacrificed for us to be there in our own families and in our community. We knew that this was an opportunity of a lifetime, and we were charged with taking full advantage of that so that we could make our people proud, make our families proud, make our communities proud, so that we could give back and help those that were coming along behind us, that we knew that we were part of something much bigger than just ourselves.
Nina, so one day some guy named Patrick Jackson starts hanging around the dorm. This is a student who you all, was there one moment where Patrick Jackson comes into the dorm and you're all checking him out at the same time?
Absolutely, yes.
Do you remember that moment?
I remember that moment, because we all kind of, he comes in and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, like, he popped in there with his backpack, and we're like, oh, okay. And then when he left, we're like, hey, oh, we're just friends. I'm like, okay. But I tell this story because Patrick was, from day one, all in. So supportive. What you saw on TV is who he is. So supportive, so loving, wanting to know about our culture, wanting to know about Black history, our issues. He was in there, he was studying. And that's not just because he just wanted to meet people. It's because he cared and he wanted to understand. He came a very long history of Harvard in his family. I mean, it was in his veins. And so it was very important for him to understand the broader world. And because of that, we have a brother now, too. Dr. Patrick Jackson is amazing. Mm-hmm. He's a great dad. And he's got her back, our backs. He's always there for us. He helped my mom when she was sick recently, found her a doctor. Turns out that doctor, he trained at Georgetown. Mm-hmm. And so from then on, she got treated very well. But he would do that for anyone, anywhere, because that's the kind of person he is. And so very quickly, I would say he was brought into our sisterhood fold, and we're just so happy he's here and he's with her, and he's just loving her up when we can't, I guess, just giving her love.
Lisa, I have two names for you, Johnny Brown and Ellery Brown. It sounds like that they were the parental voice into this dorm room coming in through Ketanji, and you were all getting parental advice.
Yeah. We were, absolutely, from both of them. I will tell you, half of the stuff we went to, more than half, it was because she'd say, my daddy said we have to go to this. My dad said we have to go to this. We have to, and this was before the internet. I'm not sure how he found out about what was going on.
Yes.
But he was directing our lives from that. And her mom was, they're just so supportive of everything we did. And they were there. Mm-hmm. Anytime she did anything, they were there, and they took us in. And when we went on spring break, they were there. They have always just been there, putting their arms around us, loving us up, giving. And Ketanji would give us tidbits of what they would say to her, right? What my mom would say, and that would lift us up. Okay, all right. Mrs. Brown said,
"Don't go out looking like that." Yes, you could not go out like that. Put something, don't.
Let's listen to something that President Biden said today about the confirmation process. He said he knew it was going to be difficult, but let's listen to what else he said.
I knew the person I nominated will be put through a painful and difficult confirmation process. But I have to tell you, what Judge Jackson was put through was well beyond that. There was verbal abuse, the anger, the constant interruptions, the most vile, baseless assertions and accusations.
Nina, what was your reaction to all of that?
I was glad I wasn't in the room during those hearings, and I think that was purposeful. We came the first day because I don't think I could. I definitely don't have the demeanor of Ketanji, because I would have been so angry. It's heartbreaking, but it is not unlike, I think, what Black women have to deal with in the professional or corporate settings or any place. So it was so personal. It felt like attack on her, but attack also on all of us. And that pain was so palpable. I saw the moment that she had had enough. And everyone said she was so strong, but I looked in her eyes. She's had enough. And that is when Senator Booker lifted her up, and she was okay. But it's so painful to look at, so unnecessary, so unrelated to the proceedings. At one point, I was like, what are they even? They're not even talking to her. They're not asking her questions. They're not allowing her to respond. So it was just a show. And it was for no one's benefit, in my eyes.
Lisa?
Yeah, it was painful. And, I think Nina said it best. It was in that she is the best and the brightest. She is so brilliant. And if they would attack her, that's what we were watching. If they would attack someone as brilliant as her, what does that mean for where we are today? It was actually, to me, a very sad moment, painful and sad. It's like we've come so far and yet not. And Nina's right. It for many of us, it was painful. For us, it was painful because that's our sister. But I think for many Black women in particular watching, it was painful as a reminder of really what you go through on a daily basis. Sometimes they're not saying it, but they're thinking it. And yet you still have to be Ketanji Brown Jackson. So calm, so thoughtful, so respectful, so civil, as people are treating you as if you don't belong. And with her brilliance, her temperament, she absolutely belongs. And so it was painful.
And Antoinette, there's never been a more qualified nominee before that committee. No one more qualified in history. What did it feel like for you watching that part of the hearing?
Well, absolutely. I echo what Lisa and Nina have both said. That felt like an attack on all of us as Black women who have had to overcome so many obstacles and challenges time and time again, who have done all that we possibly can to prove ourselves, and yet and still enough never seems to be enough, despite Ketanji's impeccable credentials, impeccable qualifications. They still attacked her as if she were not fit for that role. That's something that Black women are constantly dealing with. Attack on your ability, attack on your competence, attack on who you are as a person fundamentally, right? That you don't belong. And we all felt that. I think we felt that definitely in our sister group. I think we felt that across the community of Black women around the world. We all felt that same attack, and it's just unnecessary. And you do get tired of it, and you want to be able to scream and yell and fight back, but you have to suck it up. You have to hold yourself together. You have to go higher. You have to engage in a polite way, in a respectful way, in a dignified way, regardless of what is thrown your way. And that is exactly what Ketanji did. And so when she carried herself with such poise and confidence and dignified bearing in the midst of that attack, we all cheered. We cried, but we all cheered because we said, that's exactly what we need to do. She showed them through her demeanor, through her excellence, that they were wrong, that she was right. She rose above, and that was a victory for her. But it also was a victory for all Black women around the world watching that, because we know what that feels like.
You can't hear it, but I guarantee you there's a couple of million people out there cheering for you all right now. I can never thank you enough for bringing this discussion to this table tonight. This has really been an honor to have the sisterhood here.